Down 41% year to date, Salesforce and its co founder Mark Benioff are facing backlash from investors. So, where exactly is the stock headed? Sit tight as we answer that question by going through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price forecast. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. First up, Brett Taylor has said that Salesforce is focused on making more acquisitions in the near future as their last acquisition was Slack in 2021 for $27.7 billion. But this has caused unrest between investors, with some even claiming that Benioff deserves to be fired if he does another M&A, as it just keeps diluting shareholders more and they should instead focus on managing the companies that they currently have. Replying to this, Benioff said that they're working hard to increase operating margins and grow the ecosystem, but the market is not appreciating their efforts. Next up, WhatsApp has partnered with Salesforce with an aim to allow businesses to get in touch with customers directly. This was announced by CEO Mark Zuckerberg on Tuesday, where he claimed that this integration will help drive more sales for businesses that use WhatsApp. This integration is expected to be out by this year's December, and Taylor said that this move will refine the way companies deal with customer experience as a whole. Adding to that, he said that IDC has estimated the Salesforce economy to represent over 9.3 million jobs by 2026, making an economic impact of about $1.6 trillion, raking in $50 billion of revenue. With all that in mind, let's quickly analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the one-day chart for CRM, and as always, we'll first analyze the one-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to round it off, we'll get to the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat, you guys can see that the entire market is in the reds, right? The pre-market opening was pretty much a bearish move, and CRM is no exception, right? We opened by about, let me see what was the gap down. Let me get the percentage tool real quick. We opened a gap down of about 1%, and ever since then we've recovered, right? We did get buying pressure, and now we're finally approaching the $150 range again. As you guys already know, that $150 is a proven support level for CRM. The next support, however, stands somewhere around, let me see real quick. Let's just zoom out. The next support would stand somewhere around $142, and after that the next support is somewhere around the $115 range. Now these are definitely long-term levels. We will analyze the short-term levels as well in the 1-hour chart, but until then let's quickly analyze what the long-term target for the price could look like. So judging from the current nature of the stock as well as the current nature of the economy, we already know that the Fed has hiked its interest rates once again, so this stock will definitely be affected as well. Now I believe that we will get a bounce back at the $142 level, right? We will probably get down to that level after that, because as you guys can see right here, we did maintain the $150 range pretty well, but we broke below that finally. So a pullback to the $140 range is probably not that big of a surprise. I believe that once we get back there, if we get a good enough buying pressure and the market conditions, smoothens out, we might head for this target again of the $193 resistance, and this $140 range might prove to be a good support zone and a good accumulation zone as well. But honestly, going by just technical analysis would be quite dumb in this time. Looking at the overall market conditions is what I'll recommend. And the overall market conditions do tell us that probably the stock won't go that much up this year, right? Because as you guys already know that there are loan waivers as well and stuff like that coming back to life on 1st January. So SoFi Technologies and other companies will boom around that time. But I can't say the same about Salesforce, because you guys already know that Benioff is facing a lot of backlash and everything like that. So that might drive the stock further down even if the economy gets into a good condition. And as we are talking, you guys can see that we did get some high selling pressure, and now we're down to $148. So that might be a support as well. Let me mark this, $147.65. This chart is definitely an interesting one, and if we look at the longer picture, the bigger picture, we can see that the stock, unlike other stocks, peaked on 10th November rather than 9th November. That was when the Shiba Inu coin and other cryptocurrencies peaked. And after that, we can see that we've been range bound in this $200 to $150 range for quite a few months. So if I were you, I'd probably look at swing trade opportunities rather than long-term holding positions right now. So let's quickly jump into the 1-hour chart and analyze some swing trades. So as you guys can see over here was probably when the Fed announcement came out, right? The Tesla stock also had a similar 1-hour candle over here. Right, we went up, then there was a lot of selling pressure, and the next day was in somewhat of a gap up, right, about I guess 1%. yep, about 1.3% and a gap up. And after that, as we can see, we did get the day today in a gap down. If we talk about a resistance, we can see that on the intraday basis, or rather swing basis, 152 $153 range usually gets to be a resistance in the stock. And if we look at the support, we can see that somewhere around here we can see a support around $149.5, right? If we look at the next support, it would probably be the one that we already discussed, around $147.5. But as you can see that we're trying to break that right now. We're making somewhat of an insider candle on the hourly chart. And now I believe that the stock will probably go down a bit, hit this range. If it breaks it, then of course, well, that's a bad thing for the stock. But I do believe that the stock is bearish in the short term and it will hit the $142 level anytime soon. But I don't believe that it would happen in a day or two, right? It would probably take a few weeks, maybe like a week or maybe 2 weeks, right? So let's, just wait and watch for that. But as you guys can see, we're still getting a lot of selling momentum today. And I believe that we might just stay range bound over here today if, no news comes out. But if some news comes out, it might be a different picture altogether, because you guys already know that news and fundamentals matter more than technical analysis. But now let's get into the 5-minute chart to analyze some intraday trades. As you guys can see right here, we're now in the 5-minute chart for the stock. And right off the bat, you can see that on 22nd September, we did get a lot of volatility, right? The stock was going up a lot in a few candles, right? In a single candle. And after that, we did get resisted over here at the $152.8 level. After that, we did get somewhat of a hammer candle over here, but then this somewhat of a pin bar candle indicated another bearish trend. Over here, we did get somewhat of an engulfing candle, not exactly. This was a red engulfing candle pretty much, right? After that, we can see that we did get a pin bar candle over here as well. Another pin bar candle over here, and this was pretty much the deciding factor, right? We were getting a lot of red pin bar candles, so that did tell us that the stock will go down eventually. And as the market closing came closer, we can see that the stock did go down by a lot. And right now we can see that we made another red engulfing candle pretty much, so the seller pressure definitely is higher than the buying pressure at the moment. So if I were to give you guys an intraday scenario, I personally believe that the stock will break this $147.6 support. And once that is done, we'll probably come over into this range of $146.5, right? $142 is definitely not happening today or even on Monday, right? It might happen on Monday if there's a lot of volatility, because as you guys already know that the Fed usually announces stuff around the times that, the markets are not open. Now, as you guys can see, we've broken that support but recovered into that zone again. So for my analysis, I personally believe that the stock is a sell in the short term, but in the long term, it is definitely a strong company, and I would like to buy it when it gets around maybe anything less than $142, $140. That's a good accumulation price in my opinion. And you already know that with the entire market and economy crashing, the stock might not perform that well in, like, I guess the 1 month or the 2 month period, but it will eventually catch up. But then again, remember that this is not financial advice, it's just my own opinion. So make sure that you do your own analysis before you trade. If you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. So you can subscribe to our channel Stox 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.